Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Colts Cast. We are here to talk about anything and everything Indianapolis Colts. My name is Eric Smith, co-host of the Colts Cast. Alongside me, as always, I have co-host Jamal Lawrence here.
Yo. Hey, bro, I'm going to tell you right now, the only positive thing about this episode is this mug, dog. We official.
Got the Colts Cast mug.
We official.
Brewing. I was using it this morning. Please be sure to follow us on social media. Our Twitter handle is @thecoltscast. Our Instagram is @coltscast. We're up on YouTube now. Go check us out on there. Just search the Colts Cast up. It'll be the first one to pop up. So, as you all may know, the Colts take another loss in a horrible fashion. We are now 4-11-1 on the season. The Giants clinch playoffs with a 38-10 win at home. Hey, Colts move up in the tankathon. I guess that's something we can take away from this. This was this game also was not fun to watch. It just goes to show, like, we got one more game. It's time to end this thing. Let's get to the off season, please. I can't watch another Colts game anymore. We're the worst team in NFL alongside the Texans, but we got that bowl game next week. Jamal,
Bowl game.
Speaking of bowl games, CJ Stroud.
Talk to him.
You guys were, you guys are funny. It took one game against Georgia to change a lot of y'all's minds. A lot of y'all were clamoring me on social media. CJ Stroud. Yeah, baby. You know what? I'm not even going to talk about this, but CJ Stroud did throw for 348 yards against that Georgia defense. Completed 23 of 34 of his passes, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I don't know, guys. We'll see in April, but I mean, I said, CJ Stroud's my QB1 right now. I mean, he just edges over Bryce Young. I'll take either or, but I think this kind of confirms that CJ Stroud, he ain't no pushover.
Agreed. That game was wild. I mean, what? Georgia's number one defense, and CJ Stroud was still putting up numbers. I mean,
they should have won that game.
Yeah.
That shank was really bad.
Yeah.
At the very end, and that sucks. But this doesn't take away anything from CJ Stroud's performance. He put on some stellar stats for us, confirming that CJ Stroud can be our QB1. But anyway, let's talk about this game, Jamal. This Colts offense, it looked like booty to start the game. I'm gonna be serious. I can't remember when Nick Foles went down. But he only had 81 yards.
Halftime. It was right before halftime.
It was right before halftime?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Sam Ehlinger was warming up right before halftime. Yep. 1 interception, took a sack. That one sack that took him down. I want to say that Nick Foles definitely looked better today. That's not saying much, but he wasn't doing great. He wasn't doing terrible. He wasn't forcing bad throws. And then as soon as I thought that, to my head, 1 interception. Boom. So he throws a pick six. It was just, I don't know. That was just funny to me because I was thinking that to my head. I was like, wow, Nick Foles, he's not really forcing throws today. He's not really playing horrible, but then that all changed. So.
Whoops, sorry, my mic wouldn't unmute. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I thought that he was doing okay to start off, and he just proved that he's Nick Foles. What I did like though was when they showed the graphic. I'm not sure if you guys saw it, but they showed the graphic with his win-loss ratio. Basically, and what I liked about it is they showed his Eagles win-loss, which he's well positive. He's plus 500 easily with them. But every other team, he was at 500 or below total for his total record. And I just say that because the when he was with the Eagles, that was a one-off. That was just a perfect fit for him. So, again, they talked about how he knew he was coming in as a backup quarterback, blah, 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 all that good jazz. But to me, I just feel like he, on paper, he doesn't possess what we needed or what we need. And again, I'm not saying that Sam possesses that either, but what I'm saying is when I look on paper and people are going to say, oh, he's a Super Bowl champion, blah, blah, blah. But like I said, besides his Philadelphia stats, the rest are trash. They're bad. They're horrible. So you can't ignore that. And I think that it started to show today. I was really confused at the one play where he didn't get taken down on that sack. He stood there. I think he was kind of shocked that he got hit too and didn't get put onto the ground. It kind of, I think the thing I didn't like about it most is because now it just shows like how scared a defensive player is to actually, put a hit on a quarterback. Because they don't want to get a penalty. They don't want to get a penalty for something like that. And honestly, of course, I'm glad he didn't get sacked because we didn't need that because I think that would have led to a safety on the next play for sure. But it's just pretty wild to me that something that wide open, you can't even take a hit on a quarterback anymore. And you just kind of have to be like, all right, get the ball out of your hands.
Well, even the sack he did take, I thought, that looked like rough in the pass. Kayvon Thibodeau just crushed him.
Thibodeau was coming at 1,000 miles an hour every play, man.
From that blind side. But
yeah.
Nick Foles, he made a beautiful bomb to Paris Campbell at the beginning of the game for 49 yards. That was an incredible catch by Campbell. That was about all we saw from him after that. He had a drop, I think, after. Jelani Woods got a screen pass for 29 yards, got brought back.
Holding. Couldn't believe it.
Holding play. It sucks. But yeah, Nick Foles was Nick Foles. A tiny bit better than last game, I guess. Yeah. But still throwing picks out there. Sam Ehlinger was the next man up, though.
Yeah, he was. And before I get into Sam, because, the tides changed a little bit once he got in there. Not too much, but just a little bit. I just want to remind everybody that even with that 49-yard bomb that Paris caught, which was great pass, great catch, great everything, we ended with a field goal out of that. That's just crazy. Just the progress. You get a big play like that, we can't even capitalize. The stat they said during the game, we had been 29 drives without a touchdown. That's scary to think about. That's insane. Second quarter, we've been outscored 73 points. That's scary. We're not putting up any points at all in the second quarter and the fourth quarter of games. And we'll get to fourth quarter here in a second. But these numbers are just terrifying when you see that, because even when we get one decent play like we got today, it means nothing in the grand scheme because we know that we're not going to capitalize off of it. So it's kind of scary. But, like you said, Thibodeau came in like a firecracker, lit Nick Foles up, injured him, kind of did some snow angels beside him. It's kind of, that was Thibodeau, right?
Yeah.
That's what, okay, I just want to make sure.
Pretty unsportsmanlike.
Yeah. I was kind of surprised they didn't throw a flag on that, especially when Foles was kind of quivering there on the field. But neither here nor there. Of course, that led to the injury. Insert Sam.
Well, now you got me back on that play. We did take a safe 3 points. Now okay. I want to talk about that.
All right, let's do it.
Because that was weird to me. So it was 4th and 1. We were right there, right at the end zone, almost. Looks like we're about to run a play, and a timeout is called right before the ball snapped. So that was very confusing to me, because I'm like, okay, they want to draw up a better play to get this 1 yard. No, that timeout was to stop the 4th down play and get Chase McLaughlin out there. I don't know. To me, you got to go for it right there on 4th and 1. Momentum was on our side. It's 1 yard. Let's try some things. We're not going to make playoffs. Let's just try some things right now. But no, not only do you waste the timeout, you take the 3 points. That's just that to me is bad coaching.
Yeah, you're 100% right. And it's so crazy because I feel like every week we see some other form of bad coaching where you just have to scratch your head and say, What is your thought process? Because had this been last week, I felt like that wouldn't have happened. We would have gone for it on the 4th and 1 or a 4th and 5 when we probably, for what it's worth, shouldn't do it. So every week I kind of feel like the tides change a little bit for us, and coaching just kind of like retreats from something that happened the week before, and they're just like, all right, no, we're not doing it that way. We're going to do it the other way. And like you said, just the fact to waste a timeout, you waste a time, then you actually waste a timeout to just come out and kick a field goal doesn't really add up. Inexperience at its finest. I don't know, man. I have to wonder what's going through those headsets during the game, because it can't be a lot of.
They're talking about their favorite drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
What they gonna do after the game?
Right. Parks Frazier said, I'm gonna come be on the field this game, hopefully to help out a little bit, and it did not.
Yeah. All I'll say to that is Jim Irsay is a superb tanker, because he's getting our tanking done.
Yeah.
But okay, we keep skipping over Sam Ehlinger. Jamal, tell me what you thought about him. 9 of 14, 60 yards. I mean, he only played for a half. Got that one touchdown, took a sack. Let me know.
Yeah. I mean, his first drive, it was shaky. I know it's, you're just coming in. You haven't played since your last game against Patriots, where you got sacked 9 times. You're walking into a shit show. You've seen Thibodeau come off the edge countless times today, trying to get Nick Foles. So yeah, I would imagine if I came in there, I'd be a little startled just to start my day off. So the first drive, fine. First drive jitters, get it out. But then he started to pick up a little more, and I kind of like what I saw. Again, he got us our only touchdown of the game. It drove us down for our only touchdown of the game, and that was our first touchdown. I think at that point it was 32 possessions we then had the ball, so we finally broke that. I didn't mind what I saw. I didn't mind, especially kind of looking because MPJ, he kind of turned it up. He was getting a little hungry in the second half, and I mean, it didn't really matter at that point because the game was well out of reach.
Yeah, Nick Foles doesn't like MPJ.
Yeah,
I'm starting to notice that.
And Sam was like, all right, I'm gonna start throwing the MPJ, and he was getting it to him, and it was looking good. I enjoy watching Sam out there. I like his mobility. He knew when to move. There was one play he didn't move in the pocket, though. Actually, that one play where he tried to stuff it to Mo Ali Cox, and he sat there and held his ground, and he got stuffed, which is why the pass was a little bit, a little ahead of Mo Ali Cox, just because I'm sure he was trying to see over the line. He is a little shorter, so I know it's kind of hard for him to see over all that. But he stood in there and took a hit, which I got to give him his props for, because if I had some wheels similar to him, I probably would have tried to get out of that pocket and wait for someone else to get open, or kind of let me set my feet a little better. So I'll give him that. But the biggest thing that scared me was, again, on his first drive when he almost threw that pick six to Thibodeau. Because, I mean, he just put it square in his chest. He just said, all right, you can have it. And Thibodeau just had his hands in the air. He wasn't ready to catch that. But that's where, again, nervousness, I'm sure, inexperience, all of that comes into play. Again, you've watched this guy come off the edge all game long. You got to be nervous going into that. And you see the penalties that the O-line is getting from the holding calls and things like this. So they're struggling, because they wouldn't be holding if they weren't struggling. So you kind of have to be nervous of what's going on. But I wasn't too upset with what I saw from him. I would venture to say that I think he, depending on what Nick Foles' results come back as for his ribs, I think it was, I think that Sam has a chance to start next week. We'll talk about, I don't think that means anything for the game. That is not going to change the way the game's going to go. But I just think that he may get a chance to start next week.
Yeah, and even if Sam Ehlinger goes bonkers next week, I mean, what does that do for us? I don't know. One thing, you keep talking about Kayvon Thibodeau, like, Chris Ballard was watching that game, and he's just salivating at getting an edge rusher like that. Mm-hmm. So you guys need to watch out, because we start creeping up in the top 3. Boy, Jalen Carter's there, Will Anderson. I mean, Miles Murphy. It's just, there's a lot of defensive linemen, edge rushers at the top of the draft. I could very well, if Chris Ballard is still there come April, I could see him taking one and getting, maybe a Derek Carr, maybe going the 3rd round with a late quarterback. I can see it. I can definitely see it. Sam Ehlinger gets in the second half. I thought he played okay, played all right. The playbook definitely opened up a little bit, I noticed. We had a rollout to his right. We're not getting Nick Foles or Matt Ryan to do that. I believe I saw a design run from him, unless he just kind of took off in the first second. And then also his touchdown pass, a couple of great fourth down conversions set Michael Pittman Jr. up for that. Michael Pittman, he beat his defender pretty easily to get that easy touchdown in the end zone. Wish we could get more touchdowns like that, but yeah, nothing spectacular from Sam Ehlinger from me, but way better than Nick Foles. It was very apparent. I don't know. The offensive line seemed like it just played better with Ehlinger, and I don't know. But our run game was pretty. It was okay. I think we got Jordan Wilkins more involved today. I even saw some Deion Jackson, so I think it was just a heavy rotation. Zach Moss still got 15 carries for 74 yards, averaged 4.9 yards per carry. So he's still busting it up there, but for some reason we only pulled away with 10 points from this game. Our receivers, still most of them had sub 40-yard games. I mean, Alec Pierce, it seems like he's boom or bust any game. It just seems like it. I mean, he's going to either get you 12 yards or he's going to get you that 60-yard pass. It seems like he flourished more with Matt Ryan. There was a better connection there. Those down the sideline throws, one-on-one, 50-50 catches. Matt Ryan was pretty good at setting him up for that, whether he caught it or not, or got a DPI from it. I do remember seeing a lot of those with Matt Ryan, but other than that, our receiving core, it just looked okay today. And I would say our offense is still holding us back as per usual. So, but I don't know. What'd you think?
Yeah, subpar. All subpar. I mean, we look at 124 total yards between Foles and Ehlinger. That's just crazy. I mean, our best receiver, as you kind of mentioned just a second ago, that would be Paris with 52 yards. That's not good. That's not good.
He got 49 of that off one catch.
Right.
One incredible catch. Other than that, he was getting fed some sorry plays, and then he had some drops. Yeah, at least we converted a third down.
Yeah.
A couple of them. Other than that, yeah, it's just, it really says a lot about what happened to our defense.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned, because I kind of wanted to segue into that, because I just can't keep watching the defense play so well and the offense just sit there and do nothing. I look at Okereke. I mean, my man was balling 17 tackles, 12 solo. Zaire, 10 tackles, 7 solo. I mean, these dudes are just grinding, doing all this work. Stopping a Saquon. Saquon had 58 yards. Daniel Jones, he kept getting those long runs, those fake handoffs to Saquon. He would just get the ball and roll out, so that's why we were getting beat on that. That's the only reason why he had 91 yards. But they did a hell of a job containing Saquon and just making him a non-factor. And it meant nothing, though. It meant nothing because the offense couldn't even. They literally couldn't do anything.
You said the defense played well?
No, I said against Saquon.
No, I heard you say defense played well.
Did I say they played well? All right, sorry. Well, I was reading my Saquon stats. I was talking about Karake and Franklin with their tackles. And, I mean, yeah, obviously we lost the game 38-10. Yes, overall it was a shit show that you can't control any of that. But again, like I said it in the pregame show, that we're so bad that any team is going to look godly against us.
Yeah. I was gonna say our defense. I think they got pretty shredded today. They made Daniel Jones look like a top 5 quarterback against us. I mean, every scramble he had, at least 5 yards. Some were 15, some were 10, but Daniel Jones was essentially putting the team on his back when he was scrambling and taking off. He had even pretty good stats in the air, 19 and 24, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's a really good line. That's what you want to have. And I just think, I don't know, it was very evident that we had so many injuries on defense that I think there was just holes that got exploited. Saquon Barkley only had 12 carries. They were getting he didn't have to go 20 carries. Daniel Jones had 11 runs. They had Matt Breida in there running in all over us. It was, they played very good football. We couldn't, I won't say we contained Saquon. He was still getting 4.8 yards per carry. He just didn't have to run it too much.
That's fair.
Okereke, I thought he had a pretty good game. Zaire was doing his thing all the way. I thought Dallas Flowers stepped up for a bit. Special teams, he was definitely killing it as a kickoff returner, kind of getting 30 yards per. So I really like that. But I just thought the Colts were allowing the Giants to run all over them. You could not stop Daniel Jones on the ground. And you look at the game, the Bears versus the Lions, Justin Fields had over 100 rushing yards in the first quarter. The Bears still lost by about 30 points. So Daniel Jones was putting up, close to Justin Fields' rushing numbers, except, that whole offense was complete. They were able to do it on the ground, do it through the air, didn't commit a lot of penalties, drops, things like that. It was good football from them, and they definitely wanted to win. They had that dog in them. They want to get to the playoffs since, I think, the first time since 2016. So they had every reason to win that game. Of course, I just think our defense checked out after a while. I mean, it just looked like we did not care. And we weren't gassed. It just they really didn't care. So
yeah, they don't care, and I think it's for good reason. It's hard to, as we talked about before, it's hard to try to rally whenever you know what the season is. You know it's over. There's nothing else to play for. It's obviously just like a joke of the laughing stock of the league. I mean, besides the Broncos were literally the laughing stock, so I'm sure it's hard for them to want to come out and even try to do anything. And I think that next week will be the only time we have a chance to try to prove something, which there's nothing to prove. So that's why I really don't see anybody really stepping up and doing anything big. And
our pass rush was non-existent.
Yeah, no, that was, and I saw Yannick. He's on IR. I mean, you might as well just put the entire team on IR because everybody's going on IR. So that's another person who was out for
cornerback depth was looking
nothing.
Rough.
Yeah.
Isaiah Rodgers is out.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny Moore's out. Brandon Faison went down that game. I mean, even we got Nick Cross in there. That's how hurt up our defense is.
He hadn't played since week 3.
It's been a while.
Crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, without Yannick on that line, I mean, we still had DeForest Buckner. We still had Grover Stewart and Kwity Paye. But we weren't doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
Did we even touch the quarterback? Maybe once or twice?
No, no sacks. Let me see if we had any hits.
I'm literally making a case for Chris Ballard to take an edge rusher at this point. I mean, I want a quarterback. I do. But I don't know. This D-line is not... We were talking about this D-line as being a potential, top 7 unit in the preseason? I mean, we thought Kwity Paye was going to have a breakout season. Unique, great addition. DeForest Buckner, Pro Bowler. Grover Stewart stepping up. This, I don't know, man. The Giants' O-line isn't that scary to not be generating any pressure. That just stuck out to me, man.
Yeah, no, you're right. I really feel like because last week I feel like they played a little better against the Chargers on Monday night. I just really feel like everyone has checked out. They left their keys. They got their bags. Checkout was at 11:00 a.m. and they were out at 9:30. Like they don't want to be. No one wants to be there. No one wants to be there because there's just no way. There's no way. Like you said, where you have these guys who have been playing pretty decent all year long, even though they're not playing to their highest potential, as you mentioned, the Kwity Paye, who's been hurt off and on all season. But we look at the D-Buck, who's been getting sacks.
That's good to mention. He really has been off and on.
Yeah,
hurt a lot.
I mean, I feel like you get him one game and he's out two. Get him one, he's out two. Yannick, we talked about him where he said he's been quiet with the sacks. He's hit his 8.5, 9 mark, but he's been quiet. Grover, he's been getting back. He's been doing a decent job for us overall. I mean, I definitely think he's done better, kind of as we talked about from the beginning of the season with bringing the addition of Yannick and extra pressure, that it would take some of the heat off of him. So I think that's helped him out some. And D-Buck's done all right. I can't complain too much, but I really feel like all of them, they're just, everybody's done. No one cares. No one cares. And I understand why. I completely understand why. It's just hard when you have to sit there and watch it. It really is hard as a fan to have to sit there and spend 3 hours. And I can imagine as a player doing it, but as a fan watching it for 3 hours, just knowing what the outcome is and knowing where it's going to go, it's a tough thing to do.
I'm ready. I don't even want to play the Texans. We should just do a gentleman's agreement to not play this game and save us the agony. Because I don't know what's going to happen in that game. Do you think we're going to blow the Texans out? Do you think the Texans are going to blow us out?
Yes.
Is it going to be a 0-0 tie? Like, there are so many possibilities of that game. I don't even want to think about it. But what we do need is a higher draft pick so we can look towards the future. Mm-hmm. So we can end the season 4-12-1. We can potentially go into that top 5. The Cardinals did lose today. The Bears also lost, and the Broncos lost. So I think we're probably going to stay around this 5-pick range. So we'll see. There should be at least one quarterback off the board. There could be some potential edge rushers still there. I'm keeping all possibilities open at this time. We could trade back. We could have, I don't know who could be started for us next season. Kirk Cousins might fucking be there. I don't know. It is fun to think about, but it's also scary. Overall, Colts are still bad, are still the worst team in the NFL. I don't know. The Texans put up a case for that today, but we're still looking towards the future. We're still being optimistic.
You got to be. I mean, you don't have a choice but to be optimistic, but it's very clear it's over. But I don't know, like you said, man, I am ready for this offseason. I think we'll have a lot to talk about, especially after watching some of these bowl games that have been going on. You're looking at some of these players out there and kind of seeing once we start seeing some pro days and all this, it's gonna get interesting. It's gonna get interesting to see. So.
Oh yeah. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see what other Colts fans think about. I mean, this is what we got to look towards to the future. Mm-hmm. This season is over. I don't know what's going to happen next week, but this season's over. We need a head coach. We need a new GM. We need a new quarterback. We need a lot of things.
Yep.
But I can't wait to start seeing that build. Get that winning culture back in Indianapolis.
Yeah, hopefully Jim Irsay will do the right thing. Take that
see.
As you want.
He's. I'm telling you, he has a motive, and it's to tank. Putting Jeff Saturday in there, it has to be that. That's my working theory. It really is. It
has to be, and you got it. It has to be your number one objective after this tanking is done to get Chris Ballard out of there. But we'll.
Oh man! All right, well that's gonna be it for us, everybody. Thank you for listening to Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts. We'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content. You guys take care, Colts Nation.
Yeah, take care. Have a great week.